He was running away from his assumed wife, Sally, because
Yeah.
she had just beaten him in arm wrestling, because for some reason that's something that they do casually
At a funeral.
at a funeral.
All right,
Jessica's
Mary.
wearing an actual burlap blanket.
It is, it
Like, that's
looks
not even
like
a
it.
scarf. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
even
gonna,
a scarf.
ma'am, that's gonna itch. I think Emma, the housekeeper, it looks strong enough
Sturdy,
to, yeah, she's
sturdy woman.
sturdy ladies here. Emma, I
A
see
sturdy
you.
lady sees sturdy.
I
Sturdy,
see
sturdy
you.
sees sturdy. Namaste.
Tonight on Murder, She Wrote.
It wasn't the hanging that killed her.
The
Ooh.
drama, the guns, the
There's a lot
deaths,
going on in this one. There's a lot
the
going on.
murder. There sure is.
Oh, hey, I'm Victor Devon.
I'm petrified.
And guess
And
what,
this
everybody? It's tonight
tonight
on
on
Murder,
Murder,
She
She
Wrote.
Wrote.
And look at us having a plan that we've talked about for like what, 3.5 years,
A long
kind of
time.
longer, because I think we we
Hmm.
we even sort of mused about it back when we were both working in New York.
There was some ideation along the way for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at us. We've actually completed a whole entire, well, I shouldn't speak too early, but we're about to complete an entire season of Murder, She Wrote
I know
podcasting.
22 whole episodes.
That's that's pretty great. I'm so glad that
Yeah.
we've had this opportunity. I'm so glad we've had this time together, Petra.
To
Um,
have a laugh or sing a song. Uh, yeah, me too. I actually was looking at our Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is where we host our podcast. Um, and I was just looking at all 21 episodes that have been uploaded, and I can't believe it. And we really committed to something big here, didn't we? A 12 season
yeah.
show.
And I mean, I think we've learned something about ourselves along the way.
Hmm.
But I don't know if we necessarily changed perspectives on what we're going to talk about. I know that when I was talking about it with the husband, like he assumed that we were just going to go like only the Golden Girls parallels and just
Oh,
talk about
sure.
that kind of thing. Um because we obviously Golden Girls and Murder She Wrote have a number of guest stars in common, but
Hmm.
so many 80s shows have the same guest stars in common as I've learned from doing the maybe you know them from posts on the Instagram.
Yeah.
And some shows I don't know. Like I've never watched Mission Impossible as a kid. I've never seen McCloud. And almost all of these actors were also on those series.
Yeah, I haven't seen them either, and I feel more compelled to give them a shot. I know that
Yeah,
Mission Impossible was a something that Lucille Ball and Desilu championed.
yeah, yeah. And
Same
that
with
and The
Star Trek,
Untouchables.
obviously. Yeah. And so I feel like there must be something good about them, and why not? I have such an aversion to the Mission Impossible movies because it's just like shoot 'em up, bang bang.
Yeah.
So I guess I avoid, but um, yeah, we got to
Well,
give them a chance, just for the guest stars alone.
really. Yes. Uh I don't know if also were you a Columbo watcher? I know I've mentioned it a couple
Oh,
of
I've
times.
definitely seen a lot of Columbo. Yeah,
There's some really great
he's a hoot.
Columbos. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't again, I don't love a lot of male-centered
Right.
shows, but he's a delight. And they're also ensemble pieces. And if you
I
don't like
like
them, then you just go to the next one because it's an entirely different universe again.
it's true. It's true. I definitely grew up watching Columbo, Murder She Wrote, Diagnosis Murder with Dick Van Dyke. Love that
Mm.
one. It's a little later in the game.
Hmm.
Uh, but anytime there's some sort of detective or sleuth who is super idiosyncratic, that's when I'm on board.
I have
We're at
a relationship with Monk. I can't quite. He
I
irritates me so much.
it's a
I
little
know
it's a little
it's
too much, right?
a little too much. It's a little too much.
Like I have
Well,
my own OCD to deal with, please.
basically. Yeah, ours don't mesh like that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're at a funeral because
Hmm.
this is Funeral at 50 Mile. This is the ostensible finale of season one.
Season one, wrap her up. Yeah. This is 50 Mile, Wyoming, which at the beginning we had a truck drive by the sign that said population 427. So we're in a little podunk sort of ranching community, I think. I
And
shouldn't
do you
use the
think
word
that number
podunk. I'm sure
was
it's
before or after
very
the guy
affluent.
died?
Uh, they got to change that sign. Get one of those scrapers. Turn that seven into a six now.
And I
Um,
don't even know if I've been through, I don't think I've been through Wyoming. And unfortunately, my relationship with what I think about Wyoming is not positive. Because I think the first real time I really heard about Wyoming was the Matthew Shepard murder. But
oh gosh, yeah.
this is not a great advertisement for tourism, this episode.
No, it's pretty bleak in good old Wyoming. Uh,
And it's bleak for Murder, She Wrote.
yeah, yeah. The final 10 minutes is like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah, yikes,
There are some
yikes.
bright spots. There are
Yeah.
some like Stella Stevens is a fantastic guest star in this
Hmm.
as our trashy lady. Who I've been waiting all season to say this, who is David Tolliver's mother.
What?
Yes, Stella Stevens is the mother of our miscreant David
No
Tolliver.
way.
Yes, 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 Andrew Stevens. Yeah,
No way.
I love it. Yeah, I've been
So she
saving
popped
that.
out
I've been
that
saving
tasty
that.
little morsel for us. We got to give her some props and thanks. Thank you, Stella. Wow. Okay. She's a
So
pretty good looking gal herself, so
yeah, she's fabulous. Oh,
runs in the
she's
family.
wonderful. I've seen her in a number of things, and she brings it to you every ball. She really,
Mm.
really does.
Tens,
So
tens, tens. She's so delightful. Okay,
Jack
so
Carver is
we're at
our
this
dead body, right?
Jack.
I think it is. We never see
We
him.
never even meet him. Well, he's not the murderer.
No, he's the
He just
death.
happened to die, and we're at his Wyoming funeral with all of his buddies. Um, we got introduced to his daughter, I think, Mary, played
Hmm.
by Kathleen Beller.
I
She's
don't.
kind of a Shelley Long lookalike. Or
It
sorry,
is a little
Shelley Duvall and
Shelley
Shelley Long
Duvall.
had a baby,
Yeah,
and there's
I
the
knew who you
child.
meant. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Uh, Sort of with a little Jennifer Beals
Oh,
thrown in.
sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Ethnically ambiguous, but
Hmm.
probably like that probably played a number of ethnically ambiguous characters in the 80s of either
For
Italian,
sure.
maybe Latina, maybe
Yeah,
this. And
most
her
definitely
mother
did.
had passed years ago. I think we actually find out pretty quickly that her mother had died in childbirth, right?
Yep.
So she's
That's
been
Jessica's
surrounded by
little
all
bit of
these.
exposition at the cemetery. Oh,
Mm.
we always wondered how your father would do it when your mother died in childbirth. It's like, wow, this is what
Quite
I'm
an
going to
odd
talk
thing to
about while
say.
I'm touching someone's casket. Yeah. Let me just rub it in that both your parents are dead, you little bitch. Jesus.
But she's had so many father figures because she's had like these fairy godfathers that have hung around.
These four
These are that
dudes.
are including William Windom
Hmm.
as an attorney, Sam Breen, who we will eventually know as Doc Hazlitt
That's right.
in season two. I have to wonder if by the time this was airing, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna cast you as a regular," because they
He
would have
does
had to know, right?
You'd think, but he doesn't do a lot in this episode. I thought, oh, sure, they're gonna have such great chemistry. They're gonna hit it off so well on screen together that this is sort of like a test for, oh yeah, we can bring him in for more. He doesn't really do that much in this episode. I thought that
Mm.
the character playing the doc had actually more to do.
Oh, sure.
It's confusing because I want to say that because Seth was the doc, but he doesn't play
Yeah.
the doc in this, but there's a character who
No,
calls
there's a
himself
doc.
Doc. What are they doing to us?
Along with Sneezy and Grumpy.
Basically.
Uh, which is actually it's funny because when Jessica says hello to Doc Wallace,
Hmm.
she says doctor, and he says, "Oh, don't you know when there's only one doc in so many
Hmm.
miles, you call him Doc?" And I'm like that's such a like a hometown sort of
Sure.
thing, and also like the sheriff requests being called Marshal as opposed to being or the chief, I guess.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh, right. That's call him Mark. What
call him
does the guy
Marshall.
say to Jessica? Call him
Uh,
Marshall. You'll make a
if you
friend
want
for
a friend
life or
for life.
something. Yeah. He's a hoot, that character, by the way. We'll have to get some sound bites of him. He is
He's
a real joy.
yeah. But also we have other folks that are around town that are very friendly, of other positions. It's almost
Mhm.
like the affluent version of the farmhands from Wizard of Oz, I sort of feel.
Oh, it's totally that. And you were there. And
Uh,
you were there.
Based like right now, like there's three of them, and then we
Totally.
have the our tornado essentially in the form of this Carl Mestin bastard,
Carl.
played
Oh,
by
Carl.
Clu Gulager, I think his name is, or Gulager. I'm not quite positive.
Let's see. Clu Gulager. Clu
Gul
Gulager.
Gulager?
Who,
Okay.
Qua? Kekoza? I really have no idea.
I don't know either. He
And
is
like,
somebody. Like I've seen him in films. I saw him in oh God, he was in Return of the Living Dead. Um,
yeah,
one of the nightmares.
yeah, he's done a lot of work. We've definitely seen his face before, right? Never had a
Yeah.
clue his name was Clue.
Is that
Clue,
short for something?
Gulager.
I'm looking
Gulager.
up his bio. Let me
Did
see
we
if
just
they
shift
say
timelines or something? I can't believe this is a real name. Anyway, so Clu Gulager as what's the character's name? Carl Mestin
Carl
comes in
Mestin.
with his lady friend wife, who we mentioned earlier, played by
Yeah.
Sally Stevens. Um, Apparently he visited this dead guy before he died, and it was kind of
Like
contentious
right
and caused
before.
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's coming in saying that he actually has a will to the estate.
Yeah. He that apparently Mary's father did not, what do you, did not inherit her the will? What do you call that? Did not leave her, bequeath her.
Not
That's the
everything. He
word.
left her like enough to like set up on her own, but then everything else
Yeah.
goes to him
But
or
not the
something.
house, not the property.
Yeah.
And this is a farm. Like folks, this is
Pretty
like almost like a
suspicious.
ranch.
Yeah, it's a ranch. It's almost like an estate, even.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Um, and then of course Mary's husband, who I don't even remember his name, Art. No, yeah, Art Merrick,
So, so
right?
just to, yeah.
He's a boyfriend.
Uh he is, yes. He is
He's just
our
the
handsome
scapegoat
gentleman.
suspect. He doesn't have a lot to do here either. Um,
Once again, they're like, Mary, let's give you another guy
yeah.
to interact with. There are four women, I basically in this whole episode. We
Uh-huh.
got Sally, we've got Emma, the sassy maid slash housekeeper, Mary, and then Jessica.
Uh-huh.
And Mary is she is this little bird-like thing. Like she
She
has
very
some
much
spunk,
is.
but she gets a little hissy at times.
Hmm.
But
See,
it's like
yeah. Her job here is to sort of fuss about and be angry about Sally Meston more than
yeah,
anything. Who okay, we need to take a moment to talk about Sally Meston's incredible wardrobe.
it's
Just
fantastic.
superb.
She's got denim jacket with a
Uh-huh.
fur, it's not even a collar, it's like that whole breast.
It's
And
what would you call this thing?
it's
Bolero, like a fur bolero
yeah,
of
actually, I think it
sorts
might be a
over
bolero.
a jean jacket.
And then
There's a
like
lot of
this
glitter involved.
Madonna Lucky Star headband
What
in
is
this
it?
nest of a hair.
Bleach blonde. This
So
woman
great.
thinks she's Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, and Tiffany.
And she's about 50.
Yeah, and they're in Wyoming, so everybody else is wearing boots and hats.
But she's meant to basically, I guess she's meant to sort of be like
Yeah,
trailer trashy. I mean, I know that's not
she's
couth to say,
definitely.
but that is definitely the vibe that they're going for, which is an
Well,
interesting comparison to this sort of well-tailored Carl Meston, frankly. I mean,
yeah,
he's an asshole, but
he's
he's got
greasy,
some
but
poshness. Yeah.
yeah. So there was a big storm, and everybody was trying to I don't even know what they were doing, but Carl Mestin somehow ended up in this barn.
Hmm.
Crazy Carl. Crazy
Well,
Carl.
everyone had to batten down the
Um,
hatches.
yeah,
He was running
whatever
away
that
from
means.
his he was running away from his assumed wife, Sally, because
Yeah,
she had just beaten him in arm wrestling because for some reason that's something that they do casually
at a funeral.
at a funeral.
Very
Well, that was
important.
more the repast. The funeral had
Yeah.
passed. It's over. That was the get together after.
That was the wake.
But yeah.
You know what I want to have at my wake? An arm wrestling competition.
But he shows up at the funeral with a claim for the property, and everyone hates him on site. So we
Yeah,
know they have history.
yeah,
And
he's not
he
good.
makes it a whole 14 minutes in the episode
Yeah,
before one of the farmhands opens the barn doors
and
and
finds
he's dead.
him what? Hanging. Okay,
Yeah,
our friend Jesus, who's the farmhand, he's coming yelling, Senior Merrick, come look in the barn. Why doesn't he just go in the house? Why does he like
I
why
don't
does he
know.
stop at the driveway
Because
basically
they had to
and
film the
scream?
outside only. The inside
I
was probably a set.
guess
The inside was probably a set.
they didn't fly him to set. They only had him on location.
Here we have just a second. I know we're going to get to the
Oh
dead body,
gosh.
but Sally's robe, look
It,
at this.
oh, I
It's
love
with
it.
the boots.
I want
She's
one.
still got the headband. Oh,
She's got these nude boots and this like thin as tissue paper uh sort of is it like glittery fuchsia robe?
yeah. It's
Yeah,
ribbed. It looks like snakeskin from a distance,
she
but
better
it
do it.
actually, I
Yeah.
think it's just lines. It's so
Yeah,
great.
I think so too. Anyway, they walk
So
into the barn and Carl's there, dead.
he's dead.
He's hanging.
Yeah.
And we really get a close up in on his like swollen, bloated face hanging from that rope. It is unpleasant.
Yeah, this is a serious one. Like
And
usual, I mean, what we have hanging episodes to come. That is a way how at least a couple of folks die.
yeah,
We don't linger on
no.
their corpse very much, but we spend a great deal of time with him just hanging out, so to speak.
We come back from the commercial break with his legs swinging, literally.
Yeah.
It's so unsettling. And the marshal comes in, he's like, "Could you take him down, Jesus?"
And Jessica's like, "Well, I thought you'd want to see him first." Oh, good
Yeah,
point. Well, I've seen it.
take him down. I'm with you, sir. I'm with you, Major.
Yeah,
Uh, Marshall,
not
Marshall.
major. Major.
That's a different character.
Yeah.
Uh,
So they cut him down and immediately cover him with a blanket. I guess
mhm.
that's just for respect.
Of course, she already knows that our sheriff is pretty dim and needs some pushing in the right direction. Um, and so she does her sort of stand behind his shoulder and make suggestions so that he can take the credit for knowing.
One
But
of
of
her favorite.
course,
I'm sure you've noticed. It's one of the best. It's like I'm sure you've seen, or I'm sure you've
mhm.
noticed that this happened. Oh,
Oh,
sure.
oh yeah. Well, what I'm sure the sheriff knows already is, yeah,
She knows how to play this game.
she does. She does. Um, so there was a hay bale that was pushed sort of nearby, which sort of suggests it was set up to look like a suicide and unaliving, but we know that didn't happen because that's not the show. That's
It's
not the
not the
show we're watching.
show, and it's completely out of character for this guy who came in guns a-blazing. He
Yeah.
just inherited a whole estate and he hangs himself in the barn. Like, it's not even a well thought out
No.
scapegoat.
No. It's
And of course,
pretty
this is
pretty
another
careless.
situation where it's not who did it, but who wouldn't have situation because we've spent the last 12 minutes making him a bastard.
Yeah, Mary and her boy toy, they don't like him. These four gentlemen don't like him, even though, as Mary said, they all kind of treated him with some weird sort of reverence, this guy who's now dead.
Mm,
Um, so there's something sneaky going on here.
there's lore, people.
Yeah, there's more to it. All right, scene shift. We're looking at Mary in look at this daddy little sweater.
Now, as I recall, the connection Jessica has with this is that she knew Jack, she knew the father. Did they
She knew,
indicate
that's right.
why?
Um, friend,
Just a friend.
just a friend. Oh, because he
Okay.
was a fellow veteran with Frank.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That's the
Oh,
connection.
that's right. They talk about that a little bit, which is
It's one of the tells
actually,
later.
and that bothers me
Yeah.
because this happens a few times where Jessica tries to trap somebody by saying, "Oh, do you know so and so?" And when they get it wrong, she says, "See, I knew you were lying." Like, it is human nature, I feel, that if I
Hmm.
were to ask you if you know someone, if you don't want to embarrass me or embarrass yourself that you don't quite remember who I'm talking about, but it seems important to me, you might just say, "Oh, yeah, of course I do,"
Of
when
course,
you
yeah.
don't.
It's called being
That's not
polite.
quite, yeah, it's not quite the tell
Yeah,
that
it's a
Jessica always makes
social
it out
white
to be.
lies, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be one thing if you were like a friend, but this is clearly an acquaintance you don't expect to see a whole lot.
Right. Right.
So, because she had asked Meston if he knew Frank, and she made up some like just enough falsehood to know that he didn't actually know Frank.
Right.
Great.
Right.
Oh,
All
I think
right,
she said the
fine.
wrong name. I think that's what it was.
Or wrong ranking or something like
Yeah,
that.
something.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh
Um,
yeah, of course I do." No, you
it just
it just
a
ain't
moment to
right.
discredit him, obviously. He's not who he says he is. Um, I think they're all trying to figure out who he is because how did he get this will changed? Because it seems like this guy who died, Jack, was pretty strong-willed and would never have done anything to his daughter, Mary, or is it daughter or granddaughter? I can't.
Daughter. Straight up
Daughter,
daughter.
his daughter, yep.
Yeah.
Um, so they're trying to figure out what did this guy that's now dead, swinging from the rafters, have on this other dead guy. So it's we're talking about the dead.
Yeah. And there must be because there seems to be like grudges held by at least a few of the gentlemen so far. We're going to get to all of them eventually, but at least a few of them who did not like Meston and knew him, and that he had either swindled them or had given the advice that he knew wouldn't pan out,
Mm,
that he took advantage of. It's this weird little sort of, it's not as important because the question is who killed him, not why would anybody hate him 30 years ago?
yeah.
Which we even that we get to, but it's sort of like, oh no, he's con artist essentially, and some of the guys don't like him for that. So why even more would
Yeah.
Jack bequeath?
It doesn't make sense.
No. We have also Donald Moffat here as Mr. Carver, and it is not only Donald Moffat, it is Donald Moffat and his eyebrows, and I just want to point that out.
I mean, Donald
Uh,
Moffat, we should has been in so much,
oh yeah,
including
126 credits to his name.
basically he's been
I
around.
most often will think of him as from The Thing. He's one of
That's what I
the
think
soldiers in
too.
The Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Or, and it's a deep cut, The Evening Star, which is the sequel to
oh,
Terms
I
of
love
Endearment.
that movie.
I do too.
Dare I say it?
I
I
do
might like
too.
it more than Terms of Endearment.
I do
Don't
too.
get that out
I do
loud.
too.
But yeah.
Oh, well, I kind of find Deborah Winger kind of insufferable in Terms of Endearment. But
She is very
so
frustrating.
since she's not in the sequel,
Yeah.
spoiler.
We get lovely Juliette
Uh
Lewis.
yeah. And oh, Miranda Richardson.
Oh
So
yeah.
great. So great.
Yeah, he's been
Uh,
in so much, this guy.
yeah.
So much. Um, I
Yeah,
just
so
see his
he
face sitting in in that room in the thing where they're testing. It's that scene where they're testing the blood with the hot wire
uh
and they're all lined up on the bench. Yeah.
and it leaps.
That movie is so
Uh
unsettling. Almost as unsettling as Mary's sweater.
well, this is one of the oh, but we have Sally Mustin to liven things
Hmm.
up in this pink Angora.
Yeah. Okay, we're back back to our show. They're all sitting
Oh yeah,
around
yeah.
this table like they're gonna have a seance, um, trying to
All of the
talk about
gentlemen can alibi
alibis.
themselves.
Yeah, and none of the women can. They were all
None of the women
sleeping.
can. But the question is, were any of the women strong enough to hang a man uh dead drop style.
Yeah,
Uh
that's quite a task. And we know that little Mary can't. Um,
we do know that, but Sally's really good at arm wrestling. We did learn that.
and you know what? I'm going to say it. I think Emma. I think Emma, the housekeeper, it looks strong enough
Sturdy,
to, yeah, she's
sturdy woman.
sturdy ladies here. Emma, I
A
see
sturdy
you.
lady sees sturdy.
I
Sturdy,
see
sturdy
you.
sees sturdy. Namaste. Oh,
Uh, oh, did we mention that Art, the Mary's like not husband, but like
your fiance.
gentleman friend,
Yeah.
he is now the prime suspect for this murder, right?
Oh, right, because he can't alibi himself. Only the older gentlemen can alibi
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, he doesn't. He's played by Jeff Osterhage. Not sure what that
Osterhag?
means.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, oh
He's
dear.
also
Oh dear.
80s show attractive. He's not unappealing, but the styling could use a little work.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, he's handsome. He looked really good in his suit earlier, actually. But
He deserves a
because
shout out on the Men of Murder, She Wrote blog.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Uh oh, actually, you know what? His record that is doing for me too. All right, yeah, yeah. I like him westerned up
Let's
too.
get it more.
But once
Okay,
again,
Jeff.
every detective, every police officer, every cop, when they find their easiest suspect, they lean in on that, and Jessica has to spend the rest of the episode proving that it wasn't that.
These men are just lazy. They just don't want to do it again. They don't want the paperwork. I don't
I
blame
gotta
them.
tell you, husband and I have been watching a lot of Unsolved Mysteries lately, and while that show is not
Hmm.
exactly ACAB, when cops do fail to investigate properly, they do say it. And I have to say, there are so many crimes and unsolved mystery murders and situations because the cops didn't do their jobs. Like I'm just
Constantly.
like constantly.
Constantly.
And the easy suspect, very frequently. They get this guy, and then 10 years later, finally we have DNA. And they
Jeez.
are like, oh, sorry. Whoops.
Oh, go ahead. Uh, Go back to your life. Oopsie. Oops.
But, oh well.
Um,
So these
oh,
pants that Mary's got on too,
I
these
was thinking the
palazzo,
same.
are they denim?
The whole look is actually, meanwhile, Jessica's got a
It's
lovely
a choice.
shawl. Yeah.
I love a strong choice, and that's a strong choice.
I
Other
mean,
than that
you don't think she'd be dressing for page 6 in Wyoming, so good for her. All right,
Jessica's
Mary.
wearing an actual burlap blanket.
It
Like that's
looks
not even
like
a
it.
scarf. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
even
gonna,
a scarf.
ma'am, that's gonna itch.
And we have this moment here with William Windom. What's his character's name? Sam. Sam. Uh I like his suit. It has like this pink undertone to it too. I like it. Like a little salmon.
Oh yeah, it's nice. He's good in this episode. I like him.
It's weird hearing him. It's like watching the first episode of Golden Girls where Rue McClanahan isn't quite doing the voice
Yes.
because William Wyndham, is not doing the Seth voice yet,
No, no.
and it's a little disarming.
Well, it's like Rue McClanahan in Murder Takes the Bus, and you're like, that's Blanche,
Yes,
but it's not
yes,
Blanche.
but
It's
it's not.
not.
Well, I'm even watching her in Maud because I knew Golden Girls first.
Hmm.
Uh, and
She's a
that's
much
true of
more
a lot of
fussy,
stuff. That's true
particular
of a lot.
voice choice there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even like when Betty White slips into Sue Ann Nivens, uh, every once in a while, does anybody ever tell you you look just like Jerry
Jerry
Vale?
Vale.
When she has those moments of mask dropping, like
Uh-huh.
I live for it. I live
So
for it.
good.
Uh,
Meanwhile, Mary and her dude are just making out through the prison bars.
it's very
Like
birds
kind
of
of
a
gross.
feather.
Yeah.
Remember with
Yes.
Jeff Conway, and
Yes. But
he
he's
is
not wearing makeup.
actually
We don't need to prove. We don't need to prove anything.
this heteronormative moment here.
Right, right.
Uh,
I will say I think so I come from this part of the country and I grew up in the 80s in northern Colorado and Wyoming, and I think this is pretty representative of how these people dress. I got to give props to the
understandable.
costumer.
Understandable. Oh, we
Yeah,
have our one scene wonder.
she's the best.
She's fantastic. So actually,
Uh,
we do have another lady in the in the show, Brooke Alderson as Alice.
we
Spectacular.
like her. We like her. Um, this hair is this hair is a little bit little Miami Beach shops for little old ladies,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
It's the time. It's
yeah,
very much, and it's the era. It's the
uh-huh.
area rather. Um, she gives me Marsha Wallace vibes from Bob Newhart a little bit,
Okay, okay, okay.
just a tad.
She's serving Americana here with her sort of red, white, and blue ensemble.
Once again, draping the no one ever wears a sweater. They just like to drape it.
This is kind of
But
this scene is a little it almost feels pretty useless to me. Basically just to say that she can't Jessica can't go through the doctor's files because he would get
well,
really
it's
mad.
but we find out that the reason he would get mad was because Mestin went through his files and found
Mm,
something out.
hmm.
So it is important.
Yes. Yes. Oh, can we hear her say this? Can we back
Yes,
up
of
and
course.
hear
I
her
was
say
gonna
this? Because
say we
it's
have to do it.
so awful.
Certainly wouldn't want to provoke that kind of reaction. This intruder, was he a stranger in town?
Not likely. It was that awful man that got himself hanged out at Carver Ranch yesterday.
Carl Mestin.
You asked me. A man like that was born to hang. Don't you think so, dear?
Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, kind of. I kind of agree.
We
But
don't disagree, but what a thing to say out loud. What a thing
I
to say out
know.
loud to someone you've just
Bless
met
his
for the
heart.
first
Bless
time.
his heart.
God,
But yeah, so one of the reasons
thanks.
that Jessica even went to see the doctor's files is because she believes that he was hanged and then got hit in the head, while Doc said he
Right,
was hit in the head and then hanged.
right.
But since he had very little blood, the hit would have had to have come after, as we've already discussed in previous episodes,
Yep.
post-mortem validity.
Hmm. That comes up a lot.
It does. I mean, it's important because it's time of death.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
very often the killer tries to either hide the time of death with a
Hmm.
koi pond or
As you do.
by by or that jacuzzi in the football
Uh-huh.
episode
Uh-huh.
all the time. Oh, we have
Wow.
another
Look at
Sally
this
outfit.
look. Oh, she looks it's blood red, covered in stones and sequins. She's wearing this gorgeous turquoise
Are those
heavy
studs?
chunky necklace.
Is that what
Uh,
those are? Those are like those studs you'd see like on because they're not shiny rhinestones. They look like
the studs, yeah,
metal.
they're very
Yeah.
studs. Yeah, yeah, very much that. Sparkly earrings and these headscarves.
That's so good. And turquoise jewelry.
Yeah, she came in pretty
Because
sure of
this is
herself
a
here.
woman, unlike what's her name from Murder at the Oasis. She knows you have to break up all of that color sometimes.
Come on. Yeah, Terry.
Terry, thank you.
Actually, Terry's necklace would look better on would look better on Sally here.
Sally would serve that.
Yeah, yeah,
She
it would work.
absolutely would.
She would own. Terry will never learn. Uh,
But so the reason that Mary was so pissed at Sally just a second ago is because Sally has been calling long distance all day. But for what purpose?
what is she up to, this Sally?
Mm,
Also, we didn't really mention it, but Sally and the deceased
Meston.
Mestin, Carl Mestin, they were living out of a RV here,
Hmm.
so she keeps popping
They
in and out.
arrived in it.
This scene, okay, now in her gorgeous red getup with that turquoise blue necklace, uh, Sally is challenging our marshal to fucking arm wrestling contest.
Well, it's his idea, and
Yeah,
she just says, "Sure, why not?"
yeah.
And this is twofold. One, we know that she's strong enough to
hmm
possibly do in Meston, which the marshal's going to say.
hmm
But we also get she has a tan
From her
because her
bracelets.
her bracelet is that Minnesota white,
Yeah,
uh, and she doesn't have a tan line where her ring is,
yeah,
which she always takes off when she arm wrestles,
right.
and she's left-handed.
We got a lot of clues here, folks. A lot of
A lot of
clues. A lot to
clues
run
because
with.
that knot was done by a left-handed person,
And
which
she gets it
apparently you can
right.
tell. I don't know how you can tell that, but I guess
I
you
don't
can tell.
either. It seems like you could duplicate that anyway.
Maybe. I mean, I've only tied, it's a weird thing to say. I've only tied a couple of nooses in my day.
Well, this is
Uh,
where this is where the other noose situation comes up. It's now
right.
nighttime and Jessica hears some rustling outside of our bedroom. And
This is such a weird thing. It has a
it
great moment here. It looks
yeah,
really cool. But when you get through the rest of the episode, you're like, what were they
what's it
thinking?
for? Why would they do this?
Right here, right, her response to it is fantastic, though. Noose out the window.
I do believe I'm making someone nervous.
That's
Yeah,
how I want
girl.
it. That's how I want to respond when I see a noose outside my window.
She
Uh,
is nonplussed. She could care less. She's like, oh, yeah, well, try me, bitch.
yep. Now we have this lovely pink number on Sally, but a different
Yeah.
pink than before. This fringed, honey.
She's leaning into the wild, wild west here. And I'm okay with it.
With this exposed, what do you call that? Cincher? It
Yes.
almost looks like a garter belt.
Yeah. She's wearing that same necklace from yesterday.
Oh
See, I
yeah.
like that. I like the economy
And
of
the
that
same
costuming
earrings.
choice. Yes.
The same earrings too.
This is good. This is good.
She sleeps in that necklace.
She just made a pass at Mary's boy, and Mary was like, you better
Yeah.
not. You're not
You've
going to
already
win,
got my
Mary.
house.
But Mary did just invite the marshal in to announce that Sally is the prime suspect in the death of her husband, the murder of her husband.
Yeah. Which this turns out to be just a trick to get her to basically to invalidate herself because
Yeah,
the
and
only real motivation to kill her husband is to inherit, right?
right.
Well, Jessica knows she's not really married to him.
Guess what? Guess
Mm-mm-mm.
what? Well, and that's one of those good little clues I like that
Hmm.
that most of us would never think of. Have her take off her bracelets, see that she has tan lines from her jewelry, except the wedding ring.
Which, I mean, again, could go a lot of ways. There's a lot. I mean, this is all circumstantial, isn't it?
For sure.
But we need to wave her away real quick. This is also a
Yeah.
really good way of getting rid of her as a suspect.
Well, we give her a lot of attention in this episode, right? Like she probably has of any of the characters the biggest presence, I
Oh, sure.
think.
Well, she's also the most interesting.
Yeah. Leaps and bounds ahead of the other characters.
I mean, and I think one of the reasons that it makes so much sense that we get the outcome that we do is that it could have been any of them because they're all basically the same character.
Hmm
They're all uh, affluent for the area
Yeah.
businessmen who were burned by this Meston guy, who were very fond of Mary and her father, and that's all we need. Like that's
Yeah.
really all we need.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Which that means the ring was a prop.
the ring was
Does it?
of all things a
Okay.
prop. Yeah.
Okay.
She breaks her
Sure.
down pretty fast. Um,
Yeah.
it means that we're sort of wrapping this up because we're now eliminating Alex. Sally's no longer a suspect. We never believe that Mary's a suspect because she's too little. She can't do anything.
Too little.
She's too
Well,
she's too slight. She can't hang that body.
what's also interesting is that another reason that Sally is so quick to be or so easily removed is she and Meston came to start a life there. It was never in the expectation that he would die, so she was pretending to be his wife from the
Hmm.
get-go. She
Hmm.
didn't start that plan. She says that the reason that they even did that was because they didn't want to I guess be conspicuous because people here were old-fashioned. They didn't want
Yeah,
to make it seem that he was you know, living in sin, which is such a
right.
strange thing to worry about. But again,
Totally.
it's important, totally.
Well, and it's kind of sad because I know the show is sort of positioning Sally as like trashy,
Opportunist.
money grubbing opportunist,
Yeah.
but when it comes down to it, it really sucks to be her in this situation.
Yeah. She gets the RV, and that's basically it.
Yeah, she's living in sin with a guy who she's not married to. She
Who
gets
she thought she
nothing
hit the
when he's
nest
dead.
egg
Yeah,
and
everybody
presumably
thinks
loved
she's
him.
killed. Yeah, and she
Like,
can't even win.
presumably.
You'd think she can't even win
Hmm.
an arm wrestling contest without calling attention to herself. What's a
So
girl to do?
Mary and Art just left because they have an errand to run, which leaves Jessica with the four men.
She gave this little speech, Jessica, about she has a profile of who her killer is, a strong man who's ambidextrous. So now we're calling into attention who's right-handed and left-handed again. Murder, She Wrote loves the right-handed, left-handed piece, right?
Yeah, we saw that with the Paint Me a Murderer when
Uh-huh.
she does
Uh-huh.
the reenactment of Cesar Romero's widow.
Right after she's nearly been murdered. Can I just
I
do this
know.
to you
Can we just
again?
redo that again? Can we just see? Oh God, what's
I'd like
PTSD?
to re-traumatize you, please.
So
Um,
this is an aside, but so we have this little scene here with Doc and Jessica in the
mhm.
dining room here. There's a bowl of fruit. All of the fruit is layered. So the oranges are at the bottom, the apples, the pears are in the middle, the bananas and apples are on top. If I want an orange, I don't want to have to go digging through the rest of that fruit to get that. That is no
No,
way to have a fruit bowl.
this is not a
Just
functional
saying.
bowl of fruit. This is not going to do it for me.
I'm not saying that should be the name of this episode because that's a little esoteric, a functional bowl of fruit. But I have to say that's a strong contender.
No arguments here. Listen, we lean
Uh,
into the things that are important, okay? And if you're looking for a midday snack and you want an orange, you want to grab that
what the
orange.
hell? It's just so annoying. Like, I guess it's aesthetically pleasing, but
Oh, now we're getting into the lore of these people. And what's the secret? What's the secret? I actually
walking
can't
back
even
into the
remember what it
barn,
is.
Doc and Jessica return to the barn, and Doc, who was eating an apple or was carving up an apple to
He
eat,
just
just
threw it
tosses
out.
it. I know.
He spent all that time peeling that apple and he just throws it out. Nervous habit?
And for some reason, all of the men are here. We have
All the
Doc,
men.
Bill, Tim, and Sam
Yeah.
just hanging out in the barn like men do.
Shooting the shit, sitting on bays of hail. Wait, what did I say? Sitting on bales of hay. Bays of hail.
So we
Um,
are 42 minutes in, which means
mhm,
we are nearing our conclusion. And the last 3.5 minutes are a doozy.
mhm.
We find out all about Carl Mestin and why
And the
he
secret.
inherited that land. Do you want to do the honors?
No, I don't think I could.
So years and years and years ago, uh, Carl Mestin raped Mary's mother, and Mary is the product of that rape, which they actually say in this.
Yeah.
There's a very uncomfortable moment, which I don't even know if we should sound clip because it's so wrong, where Doc just blurts out he raped her
Yes.
with like pure animal lust, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
okie dokie.
No, we don't need to justify the rapes or no, he
uh,
committed a crime.
yeah. Um, and Jack raised
Yes.
Mary as his own.
Hmm.
Mary's mother died in childbirth anyway, so I guess that clears her out of the way from
Yeah.
bearing that
She's not going to
secret.
tell anybody.
And Meston went digging around in Doc's files, and the obvious thing would be, oh, he found out that he's the listed father, but he was never the listed father. What he
Yeah.
instead found out was that Jack was sterile, which means that he couldn't be the father. It's a little bit roundabout.
A little bit. And a lot of these clues are come by sort of off camera, which is a little disappointing. So we have all this sort of talk about alibis on camera. Meanwhile, all these clues are sort of coming to fruition off camera. So that's a little
Right.
frustrating. Um,
And when the four guys found out that Meston had raped Mary's mother, or would-be mother, or soon-to-be mother,
mhm.
they did this little let's fuck with the rapist
Let's
game.
scare him. Yeah.
Let by putting a noose around his neck, putting him on a horse, and I guess doing like a game of chicken with him
Yeah, basically.
to scare him out of town, presumably.
This is when it
Uh,
first happened. They did this to him.
right.
And then I think the one who died, whose funeral we were at, it was like, no, let him go, let him go.
Yeah. Because of
And
course Jack has to be the voice of reason
of course, because he's the dead one.
because he's the dead one. Um, but then
Cut
when
to
Meston came
today.
back, they reenacted that whole horse hanging moment
Hmm.
and and still to give them likability, the
Yeah.
writers decided that a strike of lightning spooked the horse and
Hmm.
that he was accidentally killed. But
Oh
they
yeah,
still
this
put
is
him in that
a
position. This is manslaughter or negligent
manslaughter
homicide at the very least.
because they put him up on that horse and they put him in that noose and they set him up for it.
Right.
So
I mean, I would argue attempted murder. Just because the horse
of
left
course it is.
before,
Of course it is.
I mean,
Any of them can say like we didn't mean to kill him, but you
but you
can't
have
prove
him
that.
with a noose
It
around his
looks like you're
neck.
trying to kill him and then he died. So seems like you killed him.
I think
Uh,
get yourself a new procedure, folks. Like this didn't work the first time. Why would you do it the second time?
right. And we see him hanging again, and they're all just look at them all standing around him while he's hanging.
They're like,
They're
oh
not trying to
shit.
lift him up. They're not trying to
No,
pick him up. They're not trying to save the body. They're
no.
literally just standing back going, well, oops.
Yeah. And I
It's
mean, and yes,
bizarre.
presumably they had to break his neck in that fall because
Yeah.
if it was just strangulation, he wouldn't have died. Like that takes a long time.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, terrifying enough if you want to like go down a grisly rabbit hole and find
Mm,
out about like the witch trials and all of that. Almost none
boy,
of those hangings, for example, was a broken neck. Almost
boy,
all of
boy, boy.
those were like slow strangulation deaths.
Yikes.
Um, as is the case in most, unless you do like that drop thing, like you see it like
Hmm.
at an executioner, you need that
Yeah.
force to do it.
Right.
Um, so they're like, okay, well he's dead already. Let's hit him on the head, I guess, as plausible deniability that somebody killed him.
Yeah.
Okay, but
It's
Jessica's
a
figured it out.
all the subterfuge. Um, yeah, she did it. So there, and of course, she's in this barn surrounded by these four men, and we play a little bit with like, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna kill her
I know
too?
the
Um,
music shift
I
for
know.
like 4.5 seconds. It's like, well, I guess we'll have to kill you too, Jessica.
The deep sigh of relief when it's like, we'll go talk to the police. Um, oh, by the way,
Also,
let's take my
Sam
arm.
Sam says it
What?
without talking to any of the other men, and like
Yeah,
one of them, who is it, Bill? He looks like, really? We're gonna
like
confess?
that's
I
it.
didn't
That's
agree to
it.
that.
And now they're all just walking out into the sun, and that's how the episode ends.
Yeah, that's how the season ends.
That's how the season
Uh,
ends.
yeah,
Yeah, not I don't
on a
know,
fine
not
day of
a
April 21st, 1985. That was it. That was it. And it's just like, oh, okay,
and that's season one. Was
that's
this at a
it.
time when obviously season premieres, this show in particular had a lot of like loaded season premieres, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But was this at a time when like the season finale was like a big deal? Because obviously the way we watch TV today, premieres and finales are always like appointment television. But at the time, would they have done like a big sort of blowout special for a finale?
This is one of the few episodes, and I say few, even though there seems like a lot of them in the grand
Yeah.
scheme of things of the what 200 some episodes. There's only a few
Hmm.
that has its own artwork that
Right.
was used in like TV Guide or any magazines or what have you,
Sure.
that has survived. Presumably more were done, but they haven't been necessarily preserved online because you can find them
Hmm.
on eBay, you can find them on some of the blog sites, you can find them on IMDb.
Yeah.
Um, a few of the Instagrams will repost them. We have on occasion as well. So I think so. It doesn't say in that ad
Right.
grand finale of the season.
Hmm.
So it's possible that that may have been saved for like the TV promos. I feel like they would have.
Yeah.
Um it's been like I'm trying to remember what it was like to watch TV in that era, and I feel like there was a little bit of a break between the regular season and then when reruns started. I don't
Hmm.
think it was always immediately the next week.
Yeah.
So maybe?
Interesting. Yeah, I'm just sort of curious, like what would make these writers choose this episode as a finale when I think there are other episodes that have a little bit more bang to them.
Mm.
Uh, could sort of go out on a bigger note, I suppose. But this does have sort of like a, well, no one meant to commit murder, so maybe that's a good sort of choice for a season finale. Anyway, it's not super
I mean,
important. It's just
I'd have to
the
look at
reason I say
the
it
yeah, please.
is because I don't know that this is the strongest episode.
Hmm.
And so it seems to me like a strange choice to end a season with. If I watched this as if someone had just shown me this and said, "Come back for next season," I don't think this would be the right choice.
Mm.
I think something
Yeah,
else would
I
be
could see your
better.
point.
Yeah.
I could
But
see your point. I'd have to look at I don't know where I'd find it because I don't even think it's on IMDb.
mhm.
Um, the filming dates because on the air dates, according to IMDb, and I know IMDb is not 100% on a lot of details, I trust them when it comes to the air dates because they seem to be pretty consistent.
Mhm.
Um, there's a break. So the last several episodes, we get Footnote to Murder on March 10th. Murder Takes the Bus on March 17th.
Yeah.
Armed Response on March 31st. Murder at the Oasis at April 7th. There is not an episode on April 14th,
Hmm.
which means it was either postponed or circumvented by like a live event or something else. To
Oh, it
have
might
the
have
finale a week after, I think is odd because this didn't
it
air
is
until the
strange.
21st.
Yeah. Maybe it was Easter.
Oh, maybe.
Easter Sunday, because this was a Sunday night show.
When was Easter 1985? Let's see. Nope, Easter was April 7th.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, which was the date of Murder at the Oasis.
Hmm.
So, what happened March 14th, 1985?
Taxes. Everyone would get their
Mhm.
taxes together.
Oh no, this was a Thursday night show, evidently.
Oh, okay. Well, that
Oh
changes
wait, no.
everything.
No, it doesn't, because I mistyped it. April 14th. I meant to type in April 14th. April 14th was must have been a Sunday. Yeah, it was a Sunday night show. Why was April 14th so special? Uh, that doesn't help me. That doesn't help me either. Oh, there was the World Cup. That's possible. Do you think the World Cup aired on CBS? Did we care about soccer in 1985?
I sure didn't. I was suckling the teat at the
Oh
time.
dear.
Yeah.
The Washington Capitals, so NHL, what's that? That's hockey. They played that day, so maybe they were circumvented by hockey. I don't know.
Hey, hockey's pretty cool.
Yeah. Just to give you
That's the
a
one with the
sense of what
sticks,
was,
right?
yes, and the fighting. Just to give you a concept of what was happening at this time, the number one song in the world was "We Are the World" by USA for Africa.
Oh, all right, all right.
Yeah,
Very peaceful time. All
we
right.
are the children. Well, no, that's actually why they did that song. But yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. It's there seemed to be some sports stuff. I it's as a Simpsons fan and a watcher of Sunday night TV, like in Living Color and Rock and stuff like that.
hmm
That was often circumvented by sports, and I hated them for it as a child.
Truly.
So it's possible,
Like, don't they understand
um,
what's really important here?
basically. Uh, yeah. So yeah, I get your thought. I don't know if it's possible that this episode took some extra post-production, and that's
hmm
why.
Got moved around.
But it would have been one of the last three or four.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hmm.
Well, funeral at 55,
50 Mile.
50 mile.
Yeah, like the Eminem
Yeah,
movie.
funeral at 50. Yes, yes.
50 Mile.
You think we haven't been watching this episode for the last hour?
Well, Um, so not thinking it's the strongest, any particular moments of the episode that you hold on to?
Um, there's there's a moment when Sally Mestin calls Edith Conchita.
Oh,
That was
fun.
a little weird. I remember that. Made a note to point it out. It was a
Some
little
some vague
weird and
racism there.
kind of
Cool.
racist. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so there's a lot of like character in this episode, right? It's kind of like relationships and like who are these people? What are these secrets they hide? And the secret at the end turns out to be that Mary was fathered by Meston,
Hmm.
but we couldn't possibly tell her this because it would just destroy her life, and she can't know. Of course, she's going to know now because of this crime that's committed. You don't think? You think they're
They
going to hold
even
on to it?
say they even say we'll confess that we killed him, but we won't tell Mary why. And Jessica
Oh, that's
says,
true.
and it's not my place to tell her either.
Fair.
She
Um,
won't hear it from me either.
I appreciate, I think that there's some virtue in that, and it's very, good on you guys, but it robs Mary of her own experience, I think.
I think
And
it's
that
fucked up.
bothers me. What,
I
that
think
they're
it's
not going to tell
fucked
her?
up. Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's like great on you guys, but all of this nonsense just to keep her from knowing something that she probably needs to know, like
Yes.
it's gatekeeping, it's weirdly parental in a way that isn't warranted. I don't
Not their
know.
place.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
don't
their
like
place.
that.
And I would be mad if the father had kept doing it too, if he hadn't just died, if he
Totally.
was part of this, because this doesn't exist in a vacuum. And I know this is just a TV show with these are characters that exist for only 48 minutes. I don't
hmm
care. These are representations of potentially real life experiences. And I think it
Totally.
is fucked up to say, hey girl, you don't get to know about also the virtuousness of your father, if we choose to lean into that
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
But also, what if you decide to have children? What if you decide to have a life where you need to know your medical history? Like there's a
It's
whole bunch of
bizarre.
stuff in addition that frankly matters.
Yeah.
And
It robs her of
considering
autonomy, and
she's
it's really
yeah,
frustrating.
she already doesn't have her mother.
Yeah.
Now she doesn't have her father.
hmm
And once again, a bunch of dudes are making decisions about her, as they always have.
So frustrating.
So
It's
it's
interesting
it's it fucks
because
up. It's fucked up to me.
someone like Sally actually has more agency in her life
Hmm.
than Mary.
Oh, she gets stuff done.
Yeah. And
She
we
sees
we
her
kind of like her
chance.
for it.
Yeah,
And she's
absolutely.
assertive. I mean, that scene where where her and Mary almost get in a fight, like she's looking so fabulous and Mary's looking like Charlie Brown. It's
Charlie
get your shit
Brown.
together, girl. Um,
I'm sorry, who wears a fucking wool vest with boots? Like, it's
oh,
just terrible.
it's so it don't look that
Although
cold out either, girl.
I kind of love this pattern on Jessica. Folks, we let the episode round back again, and we're back at the wake. Jessica has on this
Yeah.
fabulous print. I think it's so good.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't like that. I don't like it. And I understand it's also of a certain time. That's
Yeah.
also what the Silent Generation did. It's
Yeah.
very much we don't talk about our feelings. There are family
Hmm.
secrets for a reason.
What a bore. Jeez. Tell the secrets, baby.
I
Let it
know.
out.
I know.
Yeah, so that's my take on that sort of situation. I think the women in this episode are really fun. I think the men are there's one of them, the quartet of men that I don't even remember what he does, what his name is, or what his purpose is. Do you know what I mean?
Bill.
Like
Poor Bill.
they're
I
kind
know
of
exactly. I know. Yeah.
who?
They're
What?
non-distinct. Yeah.
What are you doing here? Why do we care? So I think there's all this character development, but then some of the characters are weirdly underdeveloped. And a lot of the clues for this episode, a lot of the things that if you're really in it for the murder mystery element, you're kind of shortchanged. Like all of these
Mm,
clues and details that happen sort of off screen. All this
hmm.
evidence that sort of shows up off screen, or someone comes in and says, "Yeah, this is the evidence." It's like, well, isn't the show about this? Don't we want to watch this evidence get discovered and incorporated rather than literally sitting around a table talking about alibis for 10 minutes?
Well, we really are Jessica in this, aren't we? Because
Yeah.
Jessica figures out who did it. She just needs them to tell her why.
Yeah.
And we need to, we could have figured that out too.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, it's probably all of them. Little Orient Express moment.
Mm, hmm.
But I feel that in this case, we're supposed to just go with Jessica in this and learn things as she does and not
Yeah,
necessarily anticipate, which sometimes we do and sometimes we don't,
totally.
depending on the
Yeah.
episode. I will say one plus for Sally also is that she does seem to be in a love-hate, but mostly love relationship with Carl Mestin.
Yeah.
When Mary says, "What did he have on my father?" Sally doesn't know. And I think that that's at
Right.
least a plus that she's not consenting to play
This
house with
really
a
terrible.
rapist
Yeah.
and horrible human being
Yeah.
because she didn't know. So she's
Yeah.
actually innocent in that regard too. They could have made her a monster and they
Easily.
didn't.
And maybe that's why I keep thinking like she's kind of the star of the episode.
Oh, sure.
She's the one who kept me coming back, that's for sure. And then of
Yeah.
course our one scene wonder was a delight.
I forgot how short that scene was until we rewatched it.
Very
I, for
short,
some
yeah.
reason, thought that scene lasted a little bit longer.
Yeah. That's
Um,
just the type of guy that you want to die.
it's not quite what she
No,
says.
but
A man
they're
like
just
that
the
was just
type of
born
guy
to
that
hang.
born to hang. Like what a thing to say to a stranger. I can't believe it.
I know. You also
Uh,
like imagine like staring down at an infant and saying, "Aw, you were just born to hang."
You're gonna swing
Ah.
one day, you. Oh,
Ah.
geez. What about you? Any other final thoughts about this episode?
Um, I think it is a strong genre episode of what it
Hmm.
is. It's another, I mean, while yes, we do go a couple of places in town, most of the activity is centered around the house.
Hmm.
There's no sense of of being trapped though, as
No,
many of the island episodes do, whether
right.
figurative or literal island. Um, Jessica's involvement, she could have just left after the funeral, but because Meston kicks things up, she sticks around.
True.
Um, and I guess it would make sense that she would stay after he dies, but her involvement is really she's she's sticking her nose really where it doesn't belong. None of this is her business.
as she is
Um,
wont to do quite often.
yes,
Yeah.
but the fact that she gets to know all of this and Mary doesn't is also additionally like, well, Jesus Christ.
It's very frustrating.
Um,
And she's one who pushes for the right thing to happen, right? We know that about
again,
Jessica,
this is
but
her
in this
generation.
case,
She thinks it is the
she's
right thing.
she thinks it's okay to not tell Mary.
And I guess, I mean, if Mary ever pushed the issue, no
Yeah.
doubt she could find out.
Yeah.
In fact, if the trial happens and they are convicted and they do go to jail or what have you,
Hmm.
um, she may investigate that further. She may check that out. I don't frankly know. I
Mm.
don't see that for her.
Yeah. I don't see that for her.
So invariably, she also gets to be burdened with her four remaining father figures
Hmm.
being pulled from her, and it's just her and her husband
Yeah.
and this sprawling estate. It's just a little, and Art doesn't know. Her fiance doesn't know. He's not
No.
around for this to find this out.
No. He's just a pretty boy who happens to be around.
So invariably, she'll just assume that Art's going to leave her because all the other men in her life have. So why wouldn't he? They're going to bicker and fight, get divorced, and she's going to die penniless and alone,
Oh my gosh. Mary.
just in the gutter, clutching a bottle and holding a pig. This is just,
Oh,
no,
Mary.
yeah,
You're absolutely right.
it's just,
That's what's
yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah.
Oh, Mary, we
Then the
barely knew
marshal's going to
you.
come over and soothe her wounds and say, no, it's all right, all is well. And then she'll end up with him and go through the cycle all over again. I'd say I don't mind the sheriff either.
This is
I
some
don't
just
find him unattractive either.
no, he's a good looking guy.
He's
He's
a good
got
looking guy.
his butt's a little small for me, but
Well, you can't have everything.
I know, fair. Well,
Yeah, but
that was
yeah, I guess I've never really questioned why it was the finale. I guess
yeah,
because it's there's always then immediately been another episode to watch.
truly.
But I can kind of imagine like 10 o'clock on a Sunday in April going, well, damn, let's get some ice cream or something.
A real
This is
bummer, right?
a real bummer.
Yeah. These episodes are so across the board tonally at the end in particular. This is really sad. This
Yeah,
is a really sad end.
yeah.
Um,
Well, they never called it fun murder, she wrote. It was just murder.
it's just murder's not fun. Murder's not fun. No. Well,
But I mean, I guess on the plus side, Meston is dead, and that's okay.
true.
So,
Even as a murder victim, like he doesn't, I mean, clearly we hear his history and there's some pretty despicable things that he's done, but in the course of the episode, he's pretty innocuous.
he has no arc,
No,
none
there's
whatsoever.
nothing. I don't really care that he's dead, and I don't really
No,
care that
he has no redeeming qualities.
yeah, nothing.
Mm-mm.
He's like slightly greasy, but not even
No,
enough to like remember.
no, because they could have actually made him worse. Like they could
Yeah.
have made him, uh, which I guess, I mean, if we're talking nuance, that's impressive because they don't
Hmm.
make him an obvious monster.
True.
Um, because some of these villains are cartoons. Sometimes they really are.
Yeah.
Um,
I suppose he's just one of those people who had an opportunity in his life to do something crooked and took advantage of it and paid a price for it.
a couple of
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Well, you know why? Man like that was just born to hang.
Boom.
Well, that was our season finale. Goodness
Funeral at
gracious,
50
folks.
Mile.
Uh,
We did it.
shall we say what our next adventure is for us besides moving into season two?
Absolutely, we should.
We're gonna do a little wrap up, everyone. We're gonna
That's
do
right.
like a season review of season one, all 22 or 23 episodes, depending on your final count.
Right.
Um, and then we're gonna get into season two, which has one of my favorite premieres, which is another island, actually.
Definitely.
Um, but do check us out for our Murder We Murder She Wrote wrap up or review season
That's right. We're going to
rewind.
dig
I don't
into
know.
our favorite, our least favorite aspects. We're going to dig into the actors, the guest stars, the moments, the
Yeah,
murders.
the
We're going to
mayhem.
give a nice little comprehensive wrap up of season one. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah,
And we get to relive all of those moments all over again,
for better or worse.
for better or for worse.
And my fair and to I will probably say this when you listen to the actual review episode. We have not compared notes yet,
No, we don't.
so
We're going to
all of
surprise
this is
each
coming
other.
off is off the cuff. So
Woot
all
woot.
right, well that was Murder She Wrote season one, everyone. Goodness
Congratulations,
gracious,
Victor
so much more to
Devon.
come.
Well
So much
done.
more to come. Yes, thank you for pushing me to do this. I gotta say, I do not always do what I intend to, or do not always follow
What do
through
you
with what my best wants are. Um,
tell me more.
how
Tell me
my
more.
how my anxiety manifests is that unless all of the stars are in exact alignment, I would rather not do it.
Yeah.
So when somebody else says, "No, here are the stars," we're freaking doing it. All right, cool.
Right.
And I feel like you and I have managed to do that for each other, and I appreciate that.
It's true. It's true. I feel like there's no one that I have to keep up with this. There's no one that I want to let down more than Victor Devon. So I am committed
Wait,
to
no
doing
one you want
it.
to let down less.
Right.
You don't want to let me down the most.
Right. That's right.
That's right.
Language.
Well, then for the final time of this season, shall we say it together?
Do it.
My name is Victor Devon,
I'm petrified.
and
And
this
this
was, in fact,
was
tonight
tonight on
on Murder
Murder,
She
She
Wrote.
Wrote.